Alrighty, I think we are live. Cool. Amazing. We are back again. All right, just making sure all things are running smooth here. Cool. All right, this will be a fun one today. So, what's up, guys? My name is Gabriel Quinn. I am a character designer, concept artist, do all that stuff. And today we're just keeping it super casual, a shorter stream today as well. And yeah, we're going to be developing an OC I kind of just made. So I figured why not just continue working on this character. Let's get the color back in there, the kind of undercolor, the line tones and all that stuff. So let's like get this back up here and we'll work on it. But first things first, gotta post in the community Discord. Let people know that I'm live. Cool. So that's fun. But yeah, so let's talk about this guy. So this idea came out of one of the character design challenges I run with the patrons in the Discord. So we're back on the character design challenges now. It took me a week to kind of get organized with the course stuff before we could hop back in. There we go. Before we could hop back in with the character challenges. So that's good. Reprioritizing, balancing everything. So yeah, today, basically the character design challenge we run in the Discord is to take about an hour of time and to make a character in that hour, like design a character in that hour. And the kind of level of finish you get is sort of working backwards from how much you need to communicate the character, right? We got Chi here, Nabs is here, Man is here. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome. So yeah, we're looking at this character. So this guy is with like a little more development, I guess. We could have maybe put some lines around these chains if we wanted to. But yeah, we were working on this guy who I really liked the idea. It was really fun. So let's talk about it. We essentially got 3 words as a prompt to figure out like inspiration, where to go with the character direction. So let's talk about what that prompt was. So essentially, the 3 words we got were stiff, comparison, and frightening. They're totally randomly generated from a random word generator. So we wanted to see like, all right, let's see where we can get with stiff, comparison, and frightening. So starting with stiff, my first thought was of like rigor mortis, like death. So I was like, okay, there's this element of death happening with the character. There's this element of like potentially rebirth, potentially whatever, but this kind of stuckness in regards to death like really stood out to me. Then I started to think about like, you know, this comparison, like if there's the theme of death, then maybe we have the sort of like theme of life and death sort of in the same kind of section of like, if we're comparing something to death, why not life? And then what's frightening about it? It's like maybe there's like a fear of complete death, or fear is creating the stasis of being stuck. So going back to stiff, then I thought, all right, well, if we're thinking about stiffness, then maybe we're stuck in like a limbo state, right? Half alive. Then I thought about the colors. I'm like, all right, let's go spooky green with some human-ish tones, maybe leaning towards greens, not super saturated reds and stuff. Just kind of like maybe leaning towards death, but not completely omitting life and everything. Awesome. TXLR's here. Lashy's here. Says I'll be listening because I'm working right now. Awesome, Lashy. Let's go. But yeah, this will be a shorter one today because I got to bounce and go see an opera with my incredible, wonderful, beautiful girlfriend later. So I'm going to go see La Boheme with Stephen Costello, which will be hype. That'll be super hype. So yeah, baby. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look. So where we ended up essentially in that hour is I started sketching and it came pretty naturally. So like I kind of put down this sketch first, and the first thing I thought about with the themes that we thought of like life and death and everything like that from our notes was like this idea of being stuck in limbo and what that could mean. And for me, like a personal thing that came up was sort of like being stuck in like a stasis or like a time in childhood, essentially, where something happens and a part of you gets locked in that space. And it's almost like both the disillusionment and the innocence is like caricatured in a way, and you're stuck in that zone. So like in that sort of sphere, like it would make sense that this kid is like stuck in this kid state, both being kind of dead and innocent and alive at the same time. So there's like a weird preserved almost purity, but it's like not able to fully mature because of the like arrested development, essentially. So the second drawing came up where I was like, all right, well, let's kind of draw this character where we see their kind of more human side, less of the kind of dead side, and then, you know, maybe we've totally given over the bottom half to like the kind of skeletal leg, so it's not just half and half, but it's aesthetically kind of being more appealing, where you kind of have the consistency of the legs, where because they're the same, you can kind of group them in your mind, like, I guess, like, yeah, in that aesthetic space. So if you're able to group them aesthetically, it's kind of like doesn't take up too much attention, so we can keep the attention up here. And the outfit, just, you know, just some nice little shapes that I liked, classic Gabriel shapes, but we can think about maybe a little more of like, you know, what we want to do with this character. So I figured what a good opportunity to just kind of take a fresh idea that I have, that I did in an hour. So this was 1 hour's worth of work, and kind of think like, all right, how do we develop this? Where do we go from here? So yeah. Oh, welcome, Solid Santiago. Welcome. And everybody, also, again, welcome to all the new subscribers from the last stream. You guys just keep coming, man. So welcome to everybody. I am just going to use this opportunity to say that I'm going to be focusing a little more on potential video content than I am on stream content. So like the purpose of that is going to be to deliver more information in a concise way, so that it's like people don't have to watch like a 2-hour stream to kind of get one nugget of knowledge. It can kind of be like a little bit more. So I might stream less going forward, but we're going to start seeing videos pop up that you guys can refer back to and stuff. And yeah, we'll work on something a little more sustainable, I think. But yeah, would love to get your thoughts in the comments as well. Thank you guys so much for all the wonderful comments, the support, and like thanks for all the patrons, and you guys are amazing. I really, really sincerely appreciate it. Yo, Justin's in the chat. Let's go. So yeah, this character guy, let's think here for a second. So we have a version that's flattened, and we started drawing some chains. The idea that maybe there's this kind of like chained down, or maybe they're trying to escape some kind of fate or phantom chains, or there's something there. Like in the kind of final sort of presentation, I thought like, all right, well, maybe there's some kind of like chain theme happening here, potentially, right? Nothing too solid, just kind of something to think about maybe, but we can knock it back. Don't be afraid to knock back some of your lines and elements if they're taking up too much emphasis with their line weight and intensity. You know, just take the opacity out a little bit, right? So I just took a 50% eraser and just went over it twice. Yeah, that feels a lot more. You still see the chains, but yeah, he's still kind of stuck. Yeah, so he's still stuck in the mortal plane. But what's interesting about that is like maybe it's preventing some kind of enlightenment. So not wanting like the innocent part to truly die. They're like stuck in this space. So that's an interesting theme. In terms of like character utility, like I don't know how much this character could offer in a story, like if they would be a protagonist or another character, like a secondary character, or maybe an antagonist. Probably not an antagonist. Or if anything, it would be like a situational, very sympathetic antagonist, if anything, where the main character would have to essentially alleviate this weight on the character and help them get to a state of growth where they're able to move on and like fully mature. So there's that element too. So this character is stuck. But yeah. Oh, Froggy's here. Welcome, Froggy. Welcome. But yeah. So let's think about this. We've kind of got these elements down here. In this drawing, I had him reaching out, right? And in this kind of reaching out sketch, there's something there. There's something about this reaching, you know? It's the same, like, sort of with even like the Little Mermaid, that shot where she's like swimming up and looking up, you know, and just Just reaching forward with her hand in the foreshortened, like reaching forward. I made her so derpy. Let's go. There's something about that reaching, right? And maybe the pulling back with the other hand there as well. Like there's something there for sure, right? So we can think about that. This drawing is definitely just like put down the character information. This pose isn't necessarily like all encompassing of who the character is. I think we know that the character is kind of hiding behind the hair a little bit and kind of a little bit more, reserved, like their shoulders are back, so they have agency, but not necessarily maybe the version of agency they want to have truly. Also, Louis is here, and Blue Red says, first time watching the stream. Oh my gosh, welcome to the stream. So happy to have you. Let's go. But yeah, so we can start to think about what's happening here. One of the ideas I had is if there was like a spectrum between the character, like if one was death and one was, let's say like innocence rather than worrying about life too much, right? Or we could even say like disillusionment versus innocence, maybe. Right? Disillusionment versus innocence. Dude, I always do an A for disillusionment. I know it's an I. But yeah, so in that area, yeah, we can think like disillusionment versus innocence. It's essentially death and life, right? So we know good can come from death, and we know the obsession with life or life in certain states can be like almost like stasis potentially, right? So we know that like there's some conflicting narratives. There's interesting stuff here to be found for sure. So if we have that spectrum, I kind of had this idea of like, what if the character bounced between these two zones? And here I kind of show when the character goes more ghost-like, you can almost like see certain skeletal elements in the brain and like kind of weird stuff. I don't know if that's going to be something I keep like for the whole thing, but for now I think it's kind of interesting actually, right? Maybe. Dimmed Faces, welcome Dimmed Faces, says yearning. Yeah, exactly. Maybe a yearning, like the heart is yearning for release. So maybe the heart is yearning for what would be in this case death, right? But maybe misunderstanding what that means. So like there's a panic before. And this is kind of like classic character trope. They're afraid of change or afraid of the next step. Even though it's deep down what they want, they get confused about what they really want, right? So we don't have a lot of story context for this character, and I don't know if we need that yet. That might even get in the way. We can kind of just stay in the thematic world for now, right? But maybe, for instance, JP's here. Yo, JP. Dude, I'm doing very well, man. How you doing? But yeah, we can maybe like think about the transitional elements of this character and what that would look like. So we're going to take maybe this drawing, and when developing a character, we want to try out a lot of like visual motifs, techniques, things like that. Like we're not thinking about a finish right now. We're kind of thinking about like, all right, what kind of drawing can we do that is essentially research for this project, right? Because we're not thinking about how well can we draw this character, how well can we execute our knowledge and information, rah, rah, rah. We're thinking like, who is this character? What do we know will make a difference narratively with visual changes? And let's maybe try those changes because we don't know until we try. Because it's like new territory maybe. Jay says, chillin'. Got a few ArtStation posts organized. Now I'm thinking 3 months ahead. That's great, man. Got them stacked. Heck yeah. Staying ahead. So just drawing on top of this, we're just going to use a hard round with opacity, like nothing too crazy, right? We can kind of just like maybe draw top of some of this and kind of be like, well, what if this character was in maybe a bit of a better state and was able to almost return to like almost human form for a brief moment, right? Like what would that look like? What would that mean for the character? This maybe will help us find the story, right? Because this is kind of a complex or interesting character, we want to give it the time and process it deserves. This isn't something that's like simple, like, oh, they want revenge, they want this, they want that. It's got a little more weight to it, so, or a little more maybe narrative potential. So we want to explore that potential a little bit here. Yeah, not get stuck thinking like, is this for comics? Is this for this? Is this for that? And thinking more like, who is this character? Who are they? Why are they afraid? Like, what happened to them? You know? Try and use our powers of empathy, right? Character design is a lot of things, and one of those things that it is being empathetic, right? Understanding people and their struggles. Because people do struggle, man. They struggle all the time. So what I'm doing here is I'm just copying stuff over because, again, there are no rules. No one's sitting here saying that, why did you copy that over? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And, you know, I've got limited time. I got to go see an opera and I want to try this idea. So why not? Am I right? Cool. Yeah, alrighty. Fun. Simplify all this down. Clear up these distracting lines. Go around the eye here. Can definitely cut and make this kind of area more clear, as well as this side too. I think even this whole section is a little out in that direction. We can just pull it all in here. And we don't want too much symmetry in this area, so obviously we make changes. You know? Kind of organic, wavy kind of hair. I like that idea that it's like more wavy and organic when he's in more of a human-esque state. But even if he's almost human, I'm imagining there's still these ghostly elements that kind of come through, right? So maybe when things are more in this area, we still have those cool hues, creating almost like some glow or some kind of like hidden, strange kind of like he's almost lit with rim light all the time, with this like cool rim light, even if he's in a different environment, like that kind of feel to him. Jay says, are we still good for later this month for the talk? Are you getting busy? J. Dude, we're still good, dude. Yo, message me on Discord so I can schedule it. If you can. Oh, whoa. Oh my gosh. Yo, also I just saw I know you're in the chat, Leo. Dude, I just saw your submission. This is sick. Or like where you're at right now in the DMs. Dude, so I'm running a course right now, a character design course, which is so much fun. I love it. And just the work people are doing for it is incredible. I'm just like blown away by how people are growing and evolving and changing and thinking of art in new ways. And it's just seeing people improve. It just means so much, man. It's so cool. So my God, like what a gift to be able to be a part of that, truly. I'm imagining when this character is more human, though, they might be like a little more optimistic. Jay says, say less, let's go. Also, murder with the pen. I love your username. Also, welcome. Also, thank you. Thank you for thinking it looks good, man. Shout out to my boy, shout out to the boy External Validation. Big shout out to your boy. So yeah, we've got almost human character. What's his character's name, do you think? For some reason, I kind of want him to be like Billy. Billy feels like the name of a kid who could get into some trouble accidentally, you know? End up turning into a half ghost somehow. I feel like that just works. But then when fear strikes, we have a whole other end of the spectrum where let's just give ourselves like a full range here. So maybe let's cut this and duplicate this over. Or wait, what did we just do? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Remove this for now. Keep it up there. Move this guy over here. Yeah, let's give ourselves the full range. And let's think of what would happen if they went like full ghost, right? So, or like almost completely ghost. I feel like we'd be seeing this kind of maybe hollowness in the face here. Let's do a little time check. Ooh, okay. All right. I don't have much more time to work on this, but I think a shorter stream for this is actually pretty good. But I have to take a call really quick, so I'm going to mute myself and turn my camera off, but I'll be back in just a second, guys. And we're back? Soleil? Soleil? Cool. Wow. So, no longer BRB. We are just B. We are RB. Sandman's here, and Amanda says, "Oh, thanks. I'm not sure if I should jump into production with expressions or push a little more." I think you could jump into expressions and then see if you need to push a little bit more with the big pose, you know? Try it out. Try it out. When in doubt, try it out. It's going to be my new slogan, baby. Let's go. I'm also thinking, like, what if in the kind of eye sockets where he's like maybe less in the alive state, like maybe he still has pupils a little bit. That could be an interesting motif. So you can still kind of emote with pupils, because being able to emote is pretty important, right? And if you remove the option to emote, you could get lost pretty quick, right? But yeah, and also maybe like the kind of brain zone would be more visible, so we'd see some extra pink here and there, and then the green would come in too, which I love. Like I love these tones. I love this idea. Like I like really like this character. This might be a pretty cool OC guy. Maybe this will be the character for the draw this in your style. Whoa. Hey, there's something there. I had a formula before for like how to make successful draw this in your styles, and it works, man. It works. But maybe it's not what I want to do right now. And sometimes doing what you want to do is a little more important than wanting something to go viral, you know? And don't ask for the secret formula. I'll never give it. You'll never know how to make a viral draw this in your style. I will not give you the forbidden knowledge. Sorry, guys. Jay says I'll be vibing in the background for a bit. Got to get some headspace so can't multitask. Dude, no worries, no worries. Give me the secret formula. I have to know. No, it's no. Anyone can crack the code on that one. It's not even like an actual secret formula. You can figure it out pretty quick. Maybe even when they go full ghost, even like the brain kind of zone sort of disappears a little bit more, and maybe some more of the white kind of comes through. Like, how do we stylize this effectively where it's not creepy, but it's also like not so simple it's not realistic? But I feel like this is a good balance, actually. Right? Because it's magic. It's like magical death, not like actual death, right? So maybe they're still dark. So this is a cool range that we have here. Like, wow, what a great range. I think even that is getting like a lot done, right? In terms of like figuring out elements of this character. We just covered a lot of ground in like a really short amount of time, narratively. Just in a few minutes, which is great. So yeah, and we're trying to think about these characters on a high level. Like, we're not trying to think like, let's make this cool, or like, what's my rendering technique for hatching on this guy? Like, we're really, really trying to elevate our process and elevate our thinking, right? Because that kind of stuff will always grow and change, but you want your ideas to always be the absolute highest level, right, that you can possibly get. Salmon said, Gabriel, today out of nowhere I found out why my character hair looks bad. Apparently when you draw hair, you must make sure it doesn't cover the face too much. Better make it the outline of the face. A face look doesn't cover the face too much. Better, it makes the outline of the face look bad. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's, your shapes in your hair. I would even challenge that and kind of ask like what are my hair choices mean for the character, right? Like, even at this level that we're doing here in terms of hair, like if it was relevant to the character to cover the face, then we would definitely like cover the face with hair, but it's not super relevant to the character. We could do like a little shape here if we wanted to. Have like a little asymmetrical kind of shape cutting in. That's kind of nice. It's very just like my taste though, right? But here you can tell there's not a lot of round edges. It's all a lot of hard edges. And yeah, that's going to help us kind of like make sure that this doesn't feel natural, right? Even just looking at it, it doesn't feel natural. It feels very unnatural. And that's what it is, what it's like when you're young and something kind of terrible happens in your life and there's this kind of death of innocence in a way. Like, it's terrible. It's not good. It's a terrible thing. And like, I feel like everybody can sort of cope and be like, oh, it made me who I am. It's like, true, but like, what got left behind, Like, who's the kid that got left behind? Sorry, we're getting deep today. We're getting really deep today. Sometimes I wonder, I'm like, I've been streaming. This is my 54th stream. Like, am I like, when do you get too comfortable, Oh man. Yeah. Cool. So let the ear disappear to the background. Maybe it will look cool. I mean, yeah, you could do. We kind of like ears are kind of a cool balancing element. Also, I just shaved up the face, like the corners. It's got to be round. You got to keep some kind of softness. Can't be all that stuff. Psychology with Gabriel. Yeah, man. Dude, for me, psychology was a huge root of how I developed my thinking and choices in art even like choosing to go into art was greatly based on my interest in psychology, or at least how I went into art. I think my interest in character design definitely stems from my obsession with psychology, for sure. For sure. Nab says the whole secret formula talk reminds me of ravioli. Ravioli, give us the formuoli. That's so funny. It's true. So true, so true. This is a good transition. So doing character transitions like this, like again, we're thinking about it like it's a spectrum, right? So if we think about like kind of death or disillusionment, right? And on this side, life. It's like life is never fully complete and death is never fully complete. And the in-between is probably where most of the character resides, right? That's kind of more their base state. But maybe when they lean closer to the light side or something like that, they can never quite get there because they haven't fully worked through this side. And when they fully drop down to the death side, it's like they won't actually let themselves die and kind of like find a new version of themselves in that space. It's kind of interesting. So that's cool mode. I think I have a couple minutes. Yeah, I've got like a couple minutes here. So in those minutes, I want to think about contextually what would happen. Like maybe when the character is fully embracing death, we can think about some kind of climactic moment. Like I'm imagining they would be very, very like in an intense moment, like fully giving themselves over, you know, where maybe there's this kind of like breaking free almost element, but like not quite. So it's like maybe like or maybe it is a final breaking free element, but we don't really have to figure that out now. But if we think about a powerful gesture for this character, where like maybe they are floating in a way because they're kind of in that death zone, that magical kind of like death logic of like magic, where they can maybe float a little bit. And like what would it look like if there was that like big, I love those dancing poses where the dancers are like fully leaned back, like fully leaned back, and their chest is like fully coming forward, right? Something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just finding the energy here. And like this theme of like these giant chains or something holding them down. Like maybe they're trying to ascend and they can't because these chains are holding them back. When they go to like the full death mode, maybe these like chains leap out and grab them, you know? That could be a returning motif. All right, let's do it. Like chains come out when growth is going to happen. Or like chains appear. Nice. So chains appear when... Because that's kind of how it is in life, right? Like if you were going to do something that's prevented by some kind of trauma in the past, or you have some kind of negative pattern you haven't resolved, when you try to leave the zone of your restriction, you feel those chains like hold you back, right? Like when you can't think logically or clearly or whatever, like, yeah, we really, really want to have some strong narratives here. So like what's holding this character back? Not resolving the past or not resolving these dark, like the themes of death, or maybe holding back. And then what happens when those chains break? You know, broken chain, boom, finally. And these open eyes, you know, like, oh my goodness, who's this? And then they can finally grow up, right? They can finally actually resolve and become a mature adult with like a healthy inner child, you know? Boom. Wow. Okay, cool. So we're developing this stuff. So we kind of are understanding this character's arc a little bit, right? It feels true. I always love making sure that my stories and the characters I do like feel true. So this to me feels pretty true, right? Oof. I'm losing my faculties for speech. I've been talking to so much recently, man. But yeah, let's check the chat. Psychology classes can be fun. I really like my adolescent psych class. Oh yeah, dude, those things are indispensable. Lashy says, give me the crack code. I'll sing a song for free. Dude, maybe. You'll be disappointed with the answer, though. You're like, I already knew that. Sandman says, the more I know about psychology, the more I find out that I may not be okay. Oh man, it's interesting, right? We don't want to dwell too much on the unpleasant things of life, but you got to deal with stuff too. Me, a psychology academic advisor. Yeah, there you go. Aurora's nose. So yeah, oh yeah, but we wanted to keep the pupil here, so we still have that kind of human element. Right? So I like this transition. It's a nice breath of a character, and for this main guy, I feel like maybe this character is more human when there's like maybe kind of a sense of community around them or something, right? When like they're in like a space, maybe they're like sitting under like a tree after like making a friend who doesn't judge them, like maybe they have like a little like a young kind of lady friend who's like there for them, I guess, in a way that's like not manipulative or with ulterior motives, just like a very wholesome friendship, just like a good person. And they're probably not used to that, so it's kind of probably brings them back into personhood a little bit, sitting under a tree. They can kind of just relax and kind of just be there in the moment to the best of their abilities that they have at the moment, right? Because even we know there's still a little bit of the ghost always, but they're like okay in the moment, Maybe they're like looking at clouds, just kind of hanging out. So this is, I think, a good basis. I think it's pretty good, right? I feel like we solved a lot. Let's look at where we started and where we're at now. So kind of initially, in the first hour of developing this character, we looked at the themes we were given randomly. Stiff, comparison, frightening. In the stiff, I kind of found the rigor mortis thing, death, comparison, what you compare with death, life, frightening, fear of death, fear of rebirth, fear of life, maybe a mutual fear. Also. Hype. Salmon says, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. The Bleach lore is relevant too. Change of the Ghost and Christmas Carol. Oh, that too. Wen C says, I'm new here. Finally caught you live. Welcome, Wen. Wen C, let's go. Welcome to the stream. We're wrapping up really soon, but glad you can make it for part of the live. This one's a very, very short stream, only about 40 minutes, I think, today. But I think we got pretty far, so maybe the shorter, concise ones are better because we get more done and we ramble and noodle less, keep it more concise. But yeah, so we came up with all of these. I mind mapped all of this in about under 5 minutes. So like when you get good at making connections and ideating with like themes and stuff, you can kind of just like knock this stuff out pretty quick. So yeah, from this space, we kind of like started sketching, and I kind of started to do this like old kind of character, and I was like, no, dude, this is just, why am I doing this? So I kind of like redid it in this younger form where there's like an apprehensive character reaching forward, reaching into the future, but held back and apprehensive because of the past. That is very clear here in this drawing. Which, when you're just drawing naturally, you don't notice that those themes come out, right? Especially when you've kind of got a little farther in your ability to communicate gesture and story through gesture. Here as well, you've kind of got these strong themes here. And then in this kind of more developed approach, we kind of decided like, okay, there are chains and there's a spectrum of how this character can appear in the world and be in the world. And maybe when he goes into full kind of death mode, it allows him to escape certain issues, but it's not in a healthy way. And maybe sometimes it even leads to some collateral damage. And when he's healthy, he doesn't have the powers that he has in the detached kind of dissociated state. So there's some restriction there too. Not a fully integrated person yet, unhealthy on both ends. And there's themes of kind of being brought back to life a little bit, but ultimately needing to go through the pain in order to break free. So that's pretty strong, I think, for a character motif, right? I think we could solve maybe some of the costuming elements next time. We could probably simplify this down probably a lot. We could think about like, if the character needs pants, they probably need pants, or at least some shorts to, because if they can turn back into humans, then this is kind of weird, kind of awkward, So we We would probably want to have like another kind of clothing element. It doesn't have to be like long shorts, but just like something there, right? Yeah, like something like that. Like that still works with silhouette and stuff, so we can kind of make that happen. And we can honestly, for lack of, or for the sake of clarity, like just knock this back. It doesn't really need to be a separate element. We can kind of just have a unified shape here. That even kind of helps sell the kind of posture if we want. But we could try a few things. We could show more of the arms so that they kind of go more skeletal. Like, who knows? We have options. We could try some different stuff, right? So that's cool. Zella says halfway to 100 streams. That's true. That's crazy. Stream 100. What are we going to do for stream 100? 24-hour stream? Maybe. Sandman says, if I was a character in that world, I'll be a giant warrior rat soul hunting that kid while saying very mean things. Cool. Pantless. No, with pants. New with pants. But it's good. When you come up with a new narrative element, you always got to check back for continuity. What does that mean for the whole story, right? So the more developed your story, whenever you add something new, you got to be even more careful because you don't want to retcon the entire project, you know, with some menial element change or whatever. We see that a lot with established IP, especially like Star Wars. Like Star Wars breaks its own rules all the time and with disastrous consequences. So we don't want to do that. So if it means we got to put shorts on the character, then hey, we'll do it. But yeah, I think we got pretty far here. I think we got pretty far with the themes. We kind of know the catharsis. So like we have this kind of stuck element narratively, and we have like release / rebirth. It's pretty good. So this was just kind of like a development demo basically for you guys on how to take an idea that you have that has maybe some good structure foundations and bringing that into like a stronger kind of reality or developing it so it's a usable idea, not just kind of something random without a lot of, you know, grounding or whatever. Aurora says, me designing 5,000 years of lore where one additional item creates a continuity issue. Yeah, that's a lot. But yeah, this is the time for me to say, guys, definitely like the video. If you like these streams, like the video. If you want to catch more streams in the future, subscribe and turn the notification on so you can catch them live. And also, thank you so much for everyone supporting on Patreon. It really means a lot. Like, you know, it's still not like the stream itself is not profitable at all, but we're getting there, you know, slowly but surely we're getting there. But more than anything, it's just like the encouragement, man. Like knowing you guys want to support and want to see more streams and supporting through the Patreon, that means a ton. So thank you guys so much, and all the comments and everything. Like I can't tell you how much it means to me, man. Like it's making me emotional right now because I'm so grateful to be able to do this right now. So thank you guys for allowing me to continue sharing on this platform. It's so cool. And yeah, and hey, you know, I did this design in a 1-hour character design challenge that we host on the server. We had been doing it 3 times a week. That's probably a bit much. We're probably going to scale it back a little bit. So I'll probably be hosting them maybe once a week, and we'll probably have some member hosts as well who will come in and assist and host some more stuff as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being such a fantastic audience and for like liking the video and all that good stuff. But yeah, so we're going to sign off now. Pretty sure. Yeah. Alrighty. So I think we got pretty far. I'm really happy with the result. I think we got some good stuff here. And yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching and for being such a great audience and all that fun stuff. All right, guys. Yeah. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I'll see you all next week. Cool. Peace out.